cloaked for secrecy. The world legal order recognized the Code of Koran since 1790 to 1989. Order by the allied and non-allied nation to recognize the properties, commodities, asset owned legally of Code of Koran who undertaking heirs assigned perpetual without let of hindrance. Signed, George Washington, 1789 to 1797. Signed, John Adams, 1797 to 1801. Signed, Thomas Jefferson, 1801 to 1809. Signed, James Madison, 1809 to 1817. Signed, James Monroe, 1817 to 1825. Signed, John Quincy Adams, 1825 to 1829. Signed, Andrew Jackson, 1829 to 1837. Signed, Martin Van Buren, 1837 to 1841. Signed, William Henry Harrison, 1841. John Tyler, 1841 to 1845. James K. Polk, 1845 to 1849. Zachary Taylor, 1849 to 1850. Abstain, Millard Fillmore, 1850 to 1853. Signed, Franklin Pierce, 1853 to 1857. Signed, James Buchanan, 1857 to 1861. Signed, Abraham Lincoln, 1861 to 1865. Signed, Andrew Johnson, 1865 to 1869. Signed, Ulysses S. Grant, 1869 to 1877. Signed, Rutherford B. Hayes, 1877 to 1881. Signed, James A. Garfield, 1881. Signed, Charles A. Arthur, 1881 to 1885. Signed, Grover Cleveland, 1885 to 1889. Signed, Benjamin Harrison, 1889 to 1893. Signed, Grover Cleveland, 1893 to 1897. William McKinley, 1897 to 1901. Theodore Roosevelt, 1901 to 1909. William Howard Taft, 1909 to 1913. Signed, Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921. Signed, Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 1923. Signed, Calvin Coolidge, 1923 to 1929. Signed, Herbert Hoover, 1929 to 1933. Signed, Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1933 to 1945. Signed, Harry S. Truman, 1945 to 1953. Signed, Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1953 to 1961. Signed, John F. Kennedy, 1961 to 1963. Signed, Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963 to 1969. Signed, Richard M. Nixon, 1969 to 1974. Signed, Gerald R. Ford, 1974 to 1977. Signed, Jimmy Carter, 1977 to 1981. Signed, Ronald Reagan, 1981 to 1989. The world legal order is issued to the Code of KORAN, since 1790 to 1989. Upon the execution of this order, the bearer is the sole executor, sole signatory, and sole successor heir by virtue of power vested by the League of the Nations and the United Nations Conference Trade and Development UNCTAD Article 55, 57, and 63 and UN Charter to Charter Article 2.